Be ready. 15 seconds to go. 5 seconds to go. In the matter of external aid, sir, we cannot be and we should not be unmindful of the fact that no country, however friendly, will be inclined to aid and help another unless it is satisfied that the people of that other country are putting forth their best effort to create more and more wealth by their own toil and labor for raising the standard of living of its people by the removal of poverty, ignorance, and want. Of this sacrifice and supreme effort, I submit, sir, our people have given ample proof in the course of the fulfillment of our last two plans, and it is because of this that all friendly nations which have the resources and the technical know-how are not only eager but anxious to help us to remove poverty and to raise the standard of living of our people. Therefore, sir, with a big plan of the order and dimension of our third 5-year plan, the finance minister, I would venture to say, had no alternative but to ask the people to bear the further burden of taxation with a view to improving the ultimate lot of the common man of this country. We have, however, to see whether the particular taxes imposed have been well chosen and lightly distributed so as not to cause any very great hardship to any particular class of people or trade. Coming now to the other aspects of the budget, we find that of the total additional revenue which is to accrue to the center under the present budget proposals, only rupees 3 crores of additional revenue is to be derived from adjustments made in income tax and corporation tax charges, while the rest are to accrue from customs and excise duties. In so framing his budget proposals, you will see, sir, that the finance minister has relied almost wholly upon the indirect method of taxation rather than on the direct one, which hits only the more affluent and the well-to-do who have the capacity to bear the burden, and he has thus laid himself upon to the charge of being partial to the rich and the wealthy classes at the cost of the middle and poorer classes of our people who will be crushed further under the weight of his wide net of new additional taxation proposals. But, sir, such a charge will not be justified. Before I proceed to offer a few observations on the budget, I would like to deal with a preliminary point. A few days before the presentation of the budget, we were led to believe that with the budget papers would be circulated reports from the different ministries giving the salient features of the administration of each ministry during the current year. These papers, I am sorry to say, have not reached the members of the House, and I am bringing up this point in the hope that before we give notice of cut motions, at any rate, these papers will reach us. In the course of the speeches which have already been made, there has been reference to one striking point in the budget speech, and that is the striking variation between the original budget estimates presented last year and the revised estimates contained in the budget presented now. Pandit Kunjru somewhat briefly and Professor Shah more elaborately dealt with this point. If I refer to it, it is only to remind the Honorable the Finance Minister of a promise which was tentatively made by his predecessor last year, and that is to set up with as little delay as possible a research and planning section in the finance ministry. That is, I think, of the utmost importance. I know that the Chancellor of the Exchequer in England is willing and indeed would be glad to provide facilities for training 3 or 4 promising young men from the finance ministry in this country, and I hope that Sir Stafford Cripps' offer will be accepted by the finance minister promptly and gratefully. I am referring to this variation between the original estimates and the revised estimates for another reason, and that is to indicate that there is nothing sacrosanct about the forecasts for the coming year contained in the budget, especially because my honorable friend has made no allowance at all for economies as a result of the working of the economy committee, nor for reduced expenditure under the heading defense. So far as the work of the economy committee is concerned, I think the proper costume which the finance minister should have worn is not a lounge suit. If he had been candid to this house, he should have come forward and told us that this committee has been a complete flop. Last year, his predecessor made a token cut